We have a roll call, and we do have a quorum.
Glasser?
Strube, present.
Tom present, so we do have a quorum, Katie. Okay, we'll start with a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. The first order of business we have, we're going to postpone till the next meeting, which is the election of officers, because we have a new member which will be appointed, and Mr. Myers can't be here today.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Yep,
Everybody in
Okay.
favor?
yes.
Aye.
Okay, cool. The second thing is the establishment of the meetings for 2022, which I'd like to postpone until we have the same thing, the new member and Mr. Myers here.
If I can just tweak that a little bit, Mr. Chairman, if we can accept the dates and the deadlines for the meeting dates, but postpone fixing the start time of every meeting, whether it be at 3 p.m. or 6 p.m.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Does everybody
Is
understand?
that,
So I do need a
the
vote,
motion, I make a motion that we,
at least
we
accept the dates established.
and to remove,
And we-
postpone,
And we will come back next month and discuss what should be our start time for every future meeting from,
and do the election of the officers next month.
yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. The next order of business is the approval of the agenda format
Okay, we did that.
and the approval of the minutes from September 21st and October 19th.
We missed 3C.
Pardon me?
We missed item 3C.
Revised bylaws.
Discussion adoption of bylaws.
Okay, I would like to postpone that also until we have the full.
Okay,
Okay. Can that hook back
Board.
onto the previous motion?
that's
Okay.
fine. We
All
will
right.
table that as well.
Okay, so we're up to unfinished business, which we have none. Do we, Katie?
Wait
Wait a minute,
too
the-
fast, too fast.
We need to
The
approve the
September,
minutes.
October minutes.
I thought we just did that.
No, we haven't done that. I made you stop for that for 1 second.
And we went back.
Okay, approval of the minutes for
Well, I have
September.
a couple of comments, I think, to the October meeting about, on page, I think it's 24, the pre-application at 515 Taswell Avenue.
Okay.
It's just a line that says, Ed Wells pointed out that they were moving the door on the shed, yes, to use for the golf cart. And as I was picturing with what happened, and we might not have been talking about garage doors at all here, and that might be my problem, but is, apart from the garage doors there, do you remember, was there a separate door that was going to be moving somewhere? I just,
Yeah,
that,
There was.
okay.
There was a separate door.
If that communicates clearly to everybody else, we'll leave it alone, but it was a little bit unclear to me. Moving the door to somewhere else on the shed, or they're just gonna remove it?
They were, I thought, if I remember, they were going to remove the door.
Okay, so
Katie?
they're not moving it to someplace else.
Where are we?
That's
Sorry.
just, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
don't know what page we're on.
I think it was 24, but, that's not, it's just one page I put out from the
Okay,
meeting.
it's dealing with the 515 Taswell Avenue, if that
Right.
helps us all. Sorry. Okay, I see which one it is. So it's item E
Yeah, right.
on the October
That,
agenda.
that sentence there.
Okay.
They have a shed in the back, this is for with the shed in the
Yes,
back.
and they were moving it so they could park their golf cart
Right.
in the shed.
Yes.
Yes. And where the placement of the door originally, there was some conflict to be able to get the golf cart in there, so they were gonna realign the door so that the golf cart could get in more easily.
They're moving the door
I can't remember which direction it was in, but they were moving it so they could align, so that they could drive right in. Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, if
because it
that's
was
clear,
too
okay.
tight.
yes.
Okay, and then on the, I think it's the next page, talking about, I think it's 501 Jefferson, and it's the very next page down, it's the one that starts out, Michael Strube asked about the shower, and, that it would be visible from Jefferson Avenue. Actually, that would be visible from Plum Street, because Jefferson just goes by the front of it. It's Plum Street that goes by the side where you would see the showers. That's all, the one thing.
Okay, we can
Those
correct the
are-
street
Okay,
name.
very minor, thank you.
Actually, we can't, because that's how the applicant answers.
So we can put in parentheses, the correction is Plum Street. So he may have said Jefferson, but he really meant Plum Street as the corner.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
That's-
That's the only thing I saw. Okay.
I
Okay.
have no corrections.
No questions, okay. Michael or Kathleen, would you make a motion to
I'll make a
accept it
motion that we accept the minutes.
as read?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business, unfinished business.
You got it from
Kathy?
Kathy. Michael made the motion, Kathy seconded it, and it was to approve with the corrections listed.
Right.
Okay?
Katie, do we have any unfinished business?
No unfinished business.
Okay, we have no new business with no fence installations applications filed. Renovations, minor modifications to be approved, certificate of appropriateness, 211 Mason Avenue, Mr. Mark Pugh.
Okay, if I may walk us through the application first before we hear from the applicant. So again, the applicant is Kookaburra LLC as the tenant. It's a modification. This is a unique one because they are seeking to modify a certificate of appropriateness that was approved by this board, and there are elements that are seeking a new certificate of appropriateness, specifically for awning and window replacement. So again, back in May of 2021, they were before this board seeking improvements and renovations to the exterior front of the building. And as part of that, you did approve that, which included the sign that is installed on the front of the building. We did receive a complaint later that summer that the sign was not installed in compliance with the application approval. And we did go investigate, and I reached out to Kookaburra this fall when we finally got around to dealing with some of the complaints we'd received over the summer, and brought that item forward that it needed to be addressed. As part of that conversation, the applicant indicated he wanted to make some other improvements on the front of the property and some changes based upon things that they were finding as they started their exploratory work. And so after that conversation, I did advise him that then let's put it all together in one application, put in your whole letter of intent, and then we'll figure out how we kind of peel this apart and bring it back to this board for your review and consideration. So he did provide that letter, which is included in your packet, dated November 30th with all the specific information. I will make you aware, as part of that, he was seeking a shed for placement in the rear of the property. We were able to pull that one off and deal with that administratively, so while you see that, it's not something that requires your action relative to a shed in the back of the property. So specifically, he is seeking to remove on the front facade, the removal of the painted vertical plywood above the original storefront bays and replace with the original transom windows, and to also move the painted structural glass and masonite panels on the left and right side and under the original glass storefront bays to expose the existing masonry. We approved that course of action at the May meeting. Since there's now been some exploratory work and trying to figure out their plan of action, they do want to come back and revisit that work proposal because they have recognized the conditions have not warranted or merited that it can be saved. And so they do wish to change some of that. As I also mentioned at your May meeting, you also approved the installation of the new sign on the front elevation on the size stated. Again, that is now in violation, but as part of that, he wants to revisit that issue as well. As part of it, we also approved the installation of 2 porcelain enamel gooseneck directional sign lights that would be installed above the signage for lighting. And I also just made you aware of what else had been approved at that meeting by administrative purpose, some improvements to security elements in the back of the building, on the doors and windows, which were unsecure at that time, and I did move that forward administratively. So specifically is now seeking an awning that would be a new awning above the transom windows. This would be a brand-new item for your consideration. The other new item is the storefront glass replacement. He has provided us a letter from his glass vendor regarding the condition of the existing glass to support this request and why he is looking to replace all of those windows at this point in time. The other 2 items that would be a modification to the certificate of appropriateness already issued is both for the signage to remain both in size and location on the building, and for the removal and replacement of the current brick coverings, and he will speak further about that. So those are 2 different items. One is a modification we're seeking, and one is a new certificate of appropriateness on these 4 items in total.
I
So,
believe in the original application, we did talk about that area.
Yes, and that there may be a need for him to have to revisit the plan of action, yes. And so this is absolutely appropriate based upon the conditions being exposed at this point in time.
Okay.
So in that regard, if you would like to hear from the applicant further to discuss his particulars, that would be great. I do
Okay.
also want to make you aware, we have received a letter that we will read before you make a decision, a citizen comment on this one.
Okay, would you like to come up and speak with us, please?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. My name is Mark Pugh, and I own the building at 211, and I'm also the tenant at 211 as the surf shop. Do you want me to give you an overview before you guys ask questions, or you want to do it?
You just tell us what you want to do.
Okay. What we would like to do is, we already got approval to where there's rotting T111 above the storefront glass. We'd like to continue to replace those with 3 transom windows. Above that, we would like to install an awning. I've proposed 2 different types of awnings. I'm super flexible. It's almost up to you guys. We have pictures from 1947 of a cloth awning, and we would be super happy with that. Stripes, or a hard type awning like they have at Moonrise Jewelry. So I included a couple pictures. We're good with either one. We just wanted to know what direction you guys would like to take us in. So then, I didn't want to bombard you all with tons of reams of paper, but I have information if we want to go with the cloth awning. I have, information on that I can submit for everyone.
Does the historic committee have guidelines on awnings?
We do.
Okay.
Go for it.
We do have awnings. We do have awnings in our guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
However, since we have both types of awnings on mason, it's pretty flexible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's up to you. Do you want a cloth awning which your neighbor has?
That would be easiest, and
But let me
like
finish.
I was like, if you guys wanted to mix it up, I don't care.
No.
I just want the place to look
It will look,
awesome.
I think it'll look nice with either awning, but it's really,
Right.
both of them are acceptable.
Okay.
Because your neighbor has a cloth type awning, and Moonrise, which we've already approved, has a stable awning with braces. So you can go either way you would like to.
Okay. Well, that brings me back to the sign placement. When we applied in March, we applied for the April meeting, but you guys were slammed. Totally
Right.
understandable. And so we got pushed back to the May 18th meeting. We had to get that sign ordered really just after the April meeting. So we took a chance and we went ahead and we ordered the sign that we had proposed. We weren't here for the May meeting. I apologize, but we were just slammed. the weather's gonna be cold, and we had to like do we had to get all these sweatshirts out of our warehouse and get them down here and get them to the other stores. So when we had the sign installer come, he knew that we wanted to eventually do the transoms and the awning. We didn't want to push things, so we didn't even mention the awning the first go around. We were more concerned about getting the doors repaired in the back and at least getting the sign up. So when he came, he was like, boys, if I drop this sign below the 3 bricks, it's gonna be in front of where you wanna put the transom, and you're not gonna be able to put an awning there. And he said, and if I gotta come back down here, I'm gonna charge you again. So we took the chance and we put the sign originally where we wanted it, and we're in violation. And that's why I'm here. But if the sign was lowered, it would preclude us from doing the transoms and the awning, which I think would make it look beautiful. The sign is off the bricks 3 inches with spacers, so there's been no damage to the decorative bricks under there. I personally feel the sign is well proportioned. It looks centered. It looks good. So my request to you all is if we could leave the sign there, then we could we can go ahead with the transoms and we can install an awning.
So the awning would go on the bottom of the bricks under the sign or
No.
on the wood?
It would go above the transom windows, but it would have to attach to the brick at the bottom of the facade, and then would, I know it's different, but it would attach here, and then it would, because the frame is in here, and I have information on the frame. So the sign is where it is now. If it was lowered, it would be all down.
It would be on the textured 111, which is rotten.
It's rotten.
Yeah.
Right.
We painted it
So
black
it-
just to make it look decent.
Right.
So the awning would have to come down on both sides and then attach across here, and then obviously it projects and sticks out. The awning that we got bids on is 300 inches wide, pretty much the whole width of the building. It sticks up 44 inches and then extends 48 inches. We're trying to get it to be very similar to Nancy's next door.
Is you gave me all the measurements, but the elevation off the sidewalk?
I do not have that, but we can put it as high as we,
It's supposed to be 7 feet.
it would be at least 7 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 7 feet.
It's a 7-foot minimum, okay?
Well, it would definitely be above 7 feet.
Okay.
So you're proposing
If
to
you see
just,
that old picture,
yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't 7 feet back then.
I know.
I did that one.
Yeah,
So you're proposing you want to keep the sign where it is?
yes. And that would allow us to do the other 2 improvements.
Please.
So that's my request, because if the sign is lowered,
You won't see it.
well, not just that, but it'll preclude us from doing the transoms or the awning.
The transom's going to be operable or
No,
just,
they would be casement.
okay.
And the concern
That
about the
light in.
sign is because of where it is?
The sign covers up some kind of brick
There's
Details.
detail.
There's 3 bricks, there's a brick detail here.
Yeah, like the ones on both sides?
Yes,
Yes.
so there's
Correct.
one right in between.
In the middle,
right
so it
under
covers
the
that.
sign, too.
So it really, it doesn't do anything. All right. No harm, no foul.
Well, the other option is if you look at Moonrise where they did the hard cover and put the sign on the outside.
That's an option, but that's not the option I'm asking for.
No, do you want to read the letter now before we vote, or,
You're not voting yet, because you're still in discussion.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I will read it before you vote.
okay,
So I want to finish with our applicant
all
first.
right.
Is there a way of redoing the sign so that it's longer and it does expose those details?
I mean, the whole sign could be redone, but that sign costs us like $6 grand. It's a beautiful sign. And I also have to look at my cost versus my benefit. And if I have to redo the sign, I'm almost to the point like, I'll just lower the sign, we won't do the transoms and we won't do the awning. It would stink because it would look like, you know, but that is why I'm asking you, I'm begging you to leave the sign where it is so we can do the transoms that we've been approved for and the awning.
I personally, which I don't think we're allowed to have a personal opinion, but the sign, it kind of fits with what you're going to do.
Well, that's why we tried
And
to get it to, and you see at the top of the facade parapet wall, there's like, we tried to get it so it was all centered.
You're preaching to the choir. I really think the whole thing, what you're proposing to do, will hold up really, really well. And for covering up the little brick design that's in there with the other two balanced, they're symmetrical.
It still does look very symmetrical.
I agree.
That's one of the things, if we had like a different type of sign, it's all rectangular.
Oh, I agree with you.
And so I think it might throw the whole balance off. That's my opinion.
So which awning,
The stripe?
It would be easier for us to do
The cloth.
fabric cloth
the
awning,
cloth
of
awning?
which I can submit to Katie, I have the bid, I just didn't want to
Okay,
load
so,
you all up with this package. that
okay, but you prefer the cloth awning?
I would, yes, sir.
That's good, yeah.
So what we need to do is vote on a variance for that?
Except you're not, no, it's not a
Not
variance.
voting yet,
It's
no.
not a variance, it would just, we're gonna walk through the vote in a minute, but he still has some more things to talk to you about. The front windows as well.
The glass. Okay, I was by there last Thursday or Friday, and the glass is really, really dangerous.
It is
And-
dangerous, and that is, we had Go Glass come down.
Right.
They would not give me a full shop drawing and bid package until I got approval, at least that it could be changed, because they were like, look, man, we're so busy, we're not sending anyone down there to do all this work for you. He did come down and inspect it, and it is not tempered,
It's plate.
it's plate. And
Would-
when they tore the building down next to the Parsons building, apparently at Periwinkle's, it shifted enough where and luckily that was, you know, thermal break glass. If that happened to our store, it would be like 1,000 wine glasses in Charlotte going anywhere. And I can attest, Spencer Lassie calls me Santa Claus because I'll come into town at 11 at night and pack the store, and then I'll go back in the morning, and I'll be in there in the morning, and there are kids leaning against the glass, and we leave the lights on. The town wanted the commercial properties on Mason lit up, so we leave the lights on all night. And if we do change the glass, it's going to be the exact same footprint. It's the coolest footprint in town.
It is. It
Yeah,
really
I don't
is.
see an issue with the glass.
Except,
If it's gonna look exactly the same,
And we're leaving the old
the
old
angles,
doors.
the angles will be the same.
Angles will be the same, the height will be the same, everything. and
It'll
we're
just
leaving the
be a
actual two doors.
better
It'll be
product.
safer,
It'll be safer.
for sure.
And we didn't want storefront glass doors because we thought that would make it look real modern.
No,
We actually like the old. And the problem he was telling us about the glasses, it would be like dominoes. It's not. It's different with the door. Like if one of those panes went, it would just disintegrate. They're put together with like
Right.
little tiny
Yeah, I have no problem with the glass.
lead. Thanks.
It's really dangerous, very, very dangerous.
That's what Go Glass had suggested too, and so it would be with I took a walk today when I got into town. There are 25 stores on Mason Avenue with the same, it's called a CF451T storefront system. The
Right.
dark charcoal, just,
Is yours, will yours be charcoal?
Yep.
Okay.
that's the be honest with you. It's the cheapest, it's the standard, anything else you gotta pay for wire, you gotta pay for custom cover.
Right.
So
So
it would
Katie,
be the same.
so,
My last
okay,
thing is what you were, sorry, it seems like we're bombarding you.
Nope.
The bulkhead underneath the windows and the two, it is a mixture of masonite glass, putty, wood, and it's all hodgepodge together. And some of it's rotting on the sides, some of it's broken on the bulkhead. In the springtime, we said we were taking it apart. We didn't realize that the bond is only one brick thick under there. It's got mastic and it's got these clips to hold the glass, so we could not just leave it brick. And then luckily Spencer found an old picture with his aunt of the building, and so from 1947 that always had some type of covering on it, not the covering that's there now. So in the spring meeting, Claudine was here for us, and she proposed putting stucco on it. I'm just asking you guys if you would mind if we did AZEC trim board with trimmed out kind of like moonrises on the bulkhead. I just think it looks nicer. I think stucco is just kind of boring, but I'd be happy. We have to replace it with something, so if it's stucco, it's stucco. If not, we could do it with AZEC sheathing and then trim out just exactly like the bottom is at Moonrise, and then I took a picture of a store
Yeah.
in Berlin.
You're talking about making picture frame?
Yeah, very simple, just a, I was just looking for another option if the board would allow that. And I would like to go with, I don't know if you all are, your purview is the colors, but black and tan, like the Guinness bottle, and because the brick is tan, it goes good with black, and probably the Sunbrella awning would be just a classic black and tan stripe. So that's my whole package.
I
And so
remember,
I wanted to present y'all with like the big picture before y'all broke down the little ones.
I remember in the first meeting, you discussed the stucco, and that was not a
No.
very popular idea.
I wasn't here, so good, because I don't like it at all.
Yeah, no, the stucco didn't fly.
Good.
No.
Because I think it looks
It-
it looks like you're parging a cinder block foundation.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I think everybody was in agreement that the stucco was not one of our favorite options.
Right.
The one thing too, like we love being down here. My wife and I are going to be here full time when my son graduates. I just think of a commercial building not as like a residential building that everyone sees and goes into the commercial building, except Libby said she didn't go in. But she promised me she would. But, so I think it just, it has to, it just has to
I
be
think
for
you're on the right
everybody.
track as far as the design concept.
Yeah.
You know, I really do. I think it'll be, it'll stand together with the rest of Mason rather than stand out like a thumb. I think your design concept is really good.
Well, I thank you.
Right.
I just want to tell you guys a quick funny story. In August of 2020, we were taking my daughter to school, and this building, we were walking by it, and the sewer was broken, and it smelled like sewage in August. And so last year, my wife and I came down to look at residents we were thinking of, and the realtor told us about this building, and I called my daughter. I said, "Hey, Molly, Mr. Chris and I are going to buy a store on Mason Ave." And she said, "Ooh, which one?" I said, "Remember that one that smelled like sewer? That one." And she said, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah,
But, I mean, it's all been replaced in there.
yeah, it's great.
So we're pleased as punch with it.
Unfortunately, I have 3 granddaughters that love your store.
Well, that's good.
So, Katie, did
Yeah,
you
but-
want to,
I do have a letter that has come in on this one, if I
Okay.
may. It's from Ed Wells. Dear members of the Historic Board, Review Board, I, as the previous chairman of the HDRB, would like to comment on my opposition to the applicant's application for 211 Mason Avenue. On May 18, 2021, the HDRB meeting, I was sitting chairman of the board. We heard the applicant's application for approval for various requests for approval. The board approved the application with conditions. One of the conditions consisted of the sign not covering the existing brick architectural detail on the front facade of the building. The applicant's representative, I feel, fully understood this stipulation. In the following days, the sign was installed. It covered the brick detail we asked not to be covered. This was and is to this day, 8 months later, in violation. The owners, I believe, were fully aware of this. They, to my knowledge, did not make any good faith effort to try and rectify this. They were so blatant of the fact that they had a photo op with some of our town council members with the sign in clear view for the opening of the store. I would encourage the current board members to oppose this request as it has not been brought forward. If not opposed, it could encourage future requests to do the same. Thank you, Ed Wells.
Well, I will tell you this, we did not do it. I explained to you my reasoning. And, Mr. Wells, I do not know the man, but I explained to you my reasoning. And again, we had applied for the April meeting. Nowhere in the town code does it limit the amount of applicants. It just says, you apply at this time, you get this time. I'm not complaining about that. I understand y'all are like, it's amazing the job you're doing with you know, the amount of building and stuff's going on. It was not done in a deceitful manner, and had I been here, I most certainly would have, I would not have agreed to it, and I'd have said, then shelve it and I'll come back. And I would have, that's all I can say, so.
Well, I would like to say this, that I don't believe you're a deceitful person. And I have a different viewpoint, and I think the members of the board will agree with me that those 3 little bricks, or 5 little bricks, the way the sign is applied to the building with the symmetrical bricks, the decorative bricks are still there, the 2 are, and the way you want to put the awning and the sign holds together with the new facade that you're going to do. So I really can't understand why we would want you to move the sign so that you wouldn't be able to complete your project.
Well, I appreciate
So-
that thinking.
That's my opinion.
I think the implication in the letter was that he knew he wasn't supposed to do it, but he did anyway, and that wasn't really the case.
Yeah, if, don't misinterpret the letter, please.
I won't.
Cape Charles is a very friendly, lovable town that, and we want your business.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a commercial establishment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so, we ready to vote? May I have a motion, please?
So I was just gonna say, I can make a motion that we accept the sign where it is as,
Yep,
okay,
to retain the
That-
sign in its location and size.
yep, that we approve the awning, a cloth awning, to be placed, as he said, to approve the transom windows, which I think those were already
They
approved.
were already approved, so that's
Yeah.
that's not something you need to include in your motion.
Okay, then to approve the wood trim or the AZAC trim
AZAC
on the
trim.
base to replace the brick that was there.
Yes. And to allow for all of the storefront glass replacement.
Right, which, do
Right.
you have a date on that, or?
I do not, because Go Glass has to, now that I got the go-ahead, they have to come down, give me a bid,
Yeah,
shop drawings,
yeah,
and get a time frame.
get in line.
I'm hoping, now that it's only January, that it can be done prior to the summer.
Oh, prior to summer possibly?
I'm hoping, because
Yeah.
for me, it's also a liability issue.
It's a tremendous liability that, I don't know whether you've ever seen plate glass break. I happened to be on a rescue squad where it severed a hand off. It's as dangerous as a knife.
Well,
Yeah. So
because
it's,
all
it's,
the-
If I
we've
can- if I can
accepted that it's
interject, I got a
dangerous.
motion going, I need to
And we need a
finish.
second.
Yes, I still need a second on
I
this.
second it. No, you can second.
I'll second.
Okay. Now, if there's further conversation or discussion, please have that.
Okay. As soon as you
Thank
could
you,
have
Chief.
it done, it would be better.
That is our goal.
Okay. All in favor?
I'll stop by on my way home tomorrow.
All right, there you go. Thank you. All in favor of the motion?
Aye. Pass.
So passed.
I will make a note that 2 of those items will be modifying a certificate of appropriateness that was already issued to him. And then
Right.
2 of those will be a new certificate of appropriateness.
Correct. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes care of that one. Renovation, addition and new construction of 520 Strawberry Street. Mr. Sears or Mrs. Sears?
Would you like me to just give the lay of the land before we hear?
Pardon
Okay.
me?
So they are seeking to construct a 1,020 square foot, 1.5 story, single-family residence. The lot is currently a vacant lot and is a legal non-conforming lot, which is sized at 2,920 square feet. They have submitted a sketch drawing as indicated in their letter of intent that the new finished floor will be approximately 30 inches above the existing grade to match the prevailing first floor elevation of the neighboring houses. I did already note this at the sketch drawings, and I've spoken with the applicant's agent, that the sketch drawings do not include the parcel number or other identifying information about the property or owner name and do not provide a scale for the drawings. However, in their letter of intent, they did provide us a list of their exterior finishes, as well as noting what the elevation would be of the home. I'm not going to read through those list of materials. You can read those for yourself at this point. It's a long list, 1 through 18. I did note that the front porch will cover 90% of the front facade, and they noted that the roof pitch will be 12 over 12. In my zoning analysis, again, as I said, it's a 1,020 square foot, 1.5 story single-family residence. House is proposed to have a front porch. The site plan has also been provided. Their front setback requirement will be the prevailing standard, which is set in the neighborhood, which is approximately 7.6 feet. All other setbacks are in compliance. I did provide you the standard, which is actually contained in our zoning ordinance, not necessarily in your guidelines, so I included that in there for new construction, and the materials that we are proposing or looking for when we do new construction considerations. So we do find that the proposed materials are to be in conformance with the zoning ordinance, and we find that this application is in conformance with the zoning ordinance. I will make the one note that we have not received a full landscape plan as part of this. One of the new processes that we're trying to put in place in our department is where we achieve zoning compliance for historic district review purposes only. And then we will do a secondary zoning compliance certification when the building plans are submitted, which will need to include a landscape plan as part of that submission. Because landscaping does not fall under your purview. Okay?
Correct.
I have a question on the trees. Does that fall under our purview?
It really does not fall under your purview.
Okay.
You can ask it and at least put it onto the record. So go ahead.
No, I walk by there. They're right in the middle and they're huge.
There's one, yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
Yeah,
have to take those down.
Yeah, it's a very small, I think it's a legal non-conforming lot, so it's very small. The footprint of the building is just over 1,000 square feet. And on either side, both of the buildings are very close, so there's really not a lot of room for them to change that footprint, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is very small. Will there,
Kate,
will there still be the proper setbacks on the buildings on either side?
with the fireplace?
Yeah, it does show it.
We do meet the 5-foot setbacks on either
Yes.
side.
Mhm.
The lot to the south is an old church built in the 1950s that is now being used as a residence. And they've recently built a separate garage that's very close to the property line. And the house on the north is an older home, but it's referred to as no discernible style because it's been heavily modified over the years. And that sits also very close to setback.
Okay.
We do you like me to walk you through this?
You don't have to go through all the materials.
No. The fireplace is still within the 5-foot.
It will be in compliance. There are certain allowed projections into that setback requirement. Fireplaces are one of those. There are a couple other mechanical components associated with any building project that are also allowed in that fireplace. It's not fireplace, in the setbacks.
Like a heat pump.
Yes, we have reviewed this for zoning compliance, and it will be in compliance with all the setback requirements.
Okay?
And one of the things that was important to the owner was to have a room for a fireplace, like you see in town, so that was a very important element for them.
Okay.
And just to come back on the trees, yes, we're aware that the 2 trees that are located on the property will have to be removed, but that will have to be part of their submission in with the building plan, to show us their entire landscaping plan, including the removal and tree application permit to remove those trees, as well as what will be the eventual landscaping to accommodate our tree ordinance requirements.
Which is not our purview.
It's not your purview, but I'm just calling it out so
Right.
they're aware of all the zoning elements that have to be adhered to.
What?
It's not your birthday.
I know.
I think it looks lovely. I have no questions.
The
And
only-
the shingles, they're cedar, right?
Cedar shingles, correct.
Okay. Do we have anything in town with cedar shingles?
No.
Actually,
There is
There-
one, that
there's a lot.
two-story.
there's the gate.
Yeah, I have them
Actually,
on my house too.
There is an original bungalow, I think it's at Harbor, right by the park. It's an original bungalow that on the long side of the park that is all.
Okay.
That's cedar, right. I have them on my house too.
Right, and a lot of older houses have them in the gable end, but there are several, I think there are 2 or 3 houses that do have cedar.
Are they real cedar shakes, or are they the,
Here they are.
No, they're real cedar, they're panelized though, so that they're installed in sections,
Okay,
but they are real
gotcha.
cedar.
all right.
Yes. And the intent is to have brick piers in the front with the custom bungalow columns, historic sills, simulated invited light.
Did you happen to design this?
I did.
You did? It's very nice. I don't know how you got all that in 1,000 square feet though.
It's
Huh?
amazing.
It's really tiny.
It is very small, but it actually feels pretty spacious when you kind of walk through it and look at it. It meets their needs.
So
It's a-
can I
it's a
make a
lot-
motion?
Yeah, would you?
Would I?
Sure.
I would like, honestly, we haven't done anything before this. I would like to make a motion that we accept the plan as provided with the materials provided. Do I have to put anything pending the landscape?
No, I'm just noting that this is a new process we're doing, that we're gonna have 2 zoning clearance approvals, one at HDRB level, and then one at the building permit level. We're no longer presuming HDRB carries through and gives the zoning clearance at the building permit level, just because we recognize sometimes plans have changed in the submission over to the building department, and that requires a re-review to ensure compliance with all elements.
Okay.
So,
So then I just make the motion that we accept it as is.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion so carries. Go ahead and enjoy Cape Charles.
So I guess this is pre-application and final, correct?
that's
Correct.
what you have done, is you've moved this right to a
Yeah,
certificate
it's
of
approved.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
You,
And if I have a vote, I love the afternoon meetings.
okay, good afternoon. Stay warm.
Bye, thank you.
Bye. Okay, the next is the report from our zoning administrator, Katie Nunez.
Just wanted to make you aware what has been the administrative approvals since our last meeting. One at 614 Peach Street for a roof replacement, which I approved per section 8.16B. And then for, as I mentioned earlier, 211 Mason, I approved a shed in the backyard in the commercial district, approved pursuant to section 8.16G. In addition, I want to also make you aware, you've seen a couple emails from me this last week for our There's a town hall meeting that is scheduled for the end of this month, January 27th. It's a Thursday,
I didn't get anything.
about meeting with our consultant and the town council.
Did you send it just to the regular, to the HRB
get one?
email?
I got it somewhere.
Yes,
I have it
I
in my
didn't.
calendar.
Yeah.
I sent it to your HDRB email, yes.
Okay.
So please check that. As part of that, I think you should have received, as Michael has, I think each of you may have now, a document with the first draft of substantial guidelines and revisions from the consultant, that we are asking you to review this. We are asking you to also provide all those comments that you may have from that review and revision process that you would be undertaking back to me by the end of January, so that we can collate all of the comments, because we have asked for comments not only from the HDRB, but from town council members, as well as from the planning commission members and staff, to get all of our comments in, and we will compile them as one master comment from the town as a whole, back to the consultant. And we are trying to get that document back out to the consultant by February 4th.
When do you want us to have our, what's
By
the,
the end of January, so that's that Friday, which is January 28th, I believe.
that's after the meeting.
Yes, and again, you're gonna see an email from me, so please check your town email account, because we sent out an email on this to each of you. The meeting that is going to be held by the consultant, in consultation with town council, is meant to provide an overview of their work to date. They are not seeking necessarily town comments on this draft document at this point. They really want to be able to go through the survey results and what survey information has come back out from the surveys that were issued earlier this fall. And they want to talk about their process in general and where they are in their scope of work, and then start taking any questions or comments from the public at large at that point in time. It doesn't mean there won't be additional opportunities for more comments from the public. This is just our first big round of getting some feedback and at least providing feedback on what they have learned so far about the community's viewpoint and vision and thoughts on the historic district as a whole. So with the guidelines, this draft guidelines document that you hopefully will have in your possession before the day is out, if you don't already have it from us, again, we are asking for you to plow through it.
I got mine.
It's a lengthy document. As I said, it's also gone over to the planning commission, and it was sent to the planning commission, since this will have to also be a zoning ordinance change at some point. We don't want to leave them behind in the information process that we are doing now at this point, ensuring we're all on the same page, so that when it's time to go out for public hearing and adoption of ordinances, we don't have a lot of education catching up to do with any one body.
There's a couple pages either missing or just weren't put in for some reason. When you read through there, it refers to C chart A or B,
And
and
they may not have finished them yet.
they're not in there.
Right.
And I also, a lot of them are cited, but it doesn't give their source.
Okay. And that just may be there, as I said, this is the first draft. It doesn't mean this is a complete document at all. And we know that, but they wanted to start pushing some material to the town to get us to start our reviews, because we know it's gonna take some time. As I said, this will be the first round of a couple rounds that we're gonna have documents out for our review. So this is round one, okay?
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome. I didn't want to forget to mention it, so it's January 27th. It's going to be a town hall meeting, I think is what it's being labeled as. I believe the mayor will be the
Moderator.
moderator. I think I was going to call him a guest host, but that'd be wrong.
Moderator.
Moderator. But Commonwealth Preservation Group is the primary presenter of information at this meeting. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, thank you, Katie. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Agree? Second?
Meeting's adjourned.